I see Stewie. Hey, Pink Lady Luck, how are you? Oh, thank you, Pink. Oh, there's the husband. Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, these allergies are going to kill me, I'm telling you.
Well, you took some medication. Hopefully that'll help.
Yeah, let's hope. I can't handle it anymore. Hey, Deborah Groovy, good morning. Every morning I wake up and I have the worst allergies of my life. Now it's getting to the point where it's making me cough and my eyes are getting real itchy. This sucks. Every morning. So, what's good, Brandon?
Not much. Doing well. Got
Yeah.
up and went out and got you and I some coffee.
Oh, I was very happy about that. That iced coffee was absolutely fantabulous, might I add. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
No problem. It was really strong. I tried it. It was
Oh,
up to par for you.
yes. The stronger, the better. Like, when I drink coffee, it looks like thick oil, if that makes sense.
Sludge.
Yeah, it's like a sludge. It's got to be. I got to have that caffeine.
I know. You love it.
I'm sorry. If I keep coughing like this, I'm sorry. I apologize. You know I love you, Brandon, right?
I love you.
I know you told me to keep my mouth shut about this, right?
Oh, here we go.
You still gonna love me after this?
Of course. Go ahead.
Um, I mean, I feel like it's a necessity to bring this up because, just the ignorance in some people. I won't mention names. How about that? Is that better?
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay. I won't mention names. I woke up this morning and I told my husband, I'm like, you know what? I am so mad about this. To even be accused of lying of something so serious is just absolutely beyond me. I was really offended, you know. In the world of recovery, like when we go out with people or when we go to meetings, our expectations are to be honest, to be blatantly blunt, honest. Honesty is key, right? So I guess I don't know, maybe I'm a little too honest when it comes to YouTube, because there's people that will call you a liar. There's people that will say, oh, that's not true. Why would she bring this to YouTube? I bring it to YouTube because it's a part of my life. Okay. No, I'm not proud of it. And no, I'm not looking for sympathy. That's nothing that I would want sympathy for. It's just the truth. It happened. It can be looked up. It can be easily vetted. Um, Good morning, Lily. How are you, hon? Hey, Narnie. Good morning, Serenity here. How are you? Hey, Eric. Merrick, my friend. How are you this morning? um, I've never really been known as a liar, and there's never gonna be a point in time where I am ever gonna lie about something that has to do with addiction. I learned through recovery that lies keep us sick. Um, that's why I'm honest, because if I lie about these things, it's going to keep me sick. And if I continue to stay sick, I could potentially kill myself from this disease. And I'm trying with everything I have to be honest. So if you want to say that I'm lying about this, that's your prerogative, I guess. But all these people claim to be true crime and blah, blah, blah. Vet the information before you call someone a liar is all I ask. We live in a society where we shouldn't be drug shaming. We shouldn't be race shaming. We shouldn't be shaming people for who they are. And there's a whole lot of it down here. Hey, Sabrina. Hey, Sand Dancer. Good morning. And I find it really sad, a lot of people are getting called a lot of names, and it's sad. I've been hearing the N word, which is really freaking sad. This is 2021. Nobody should be using that word. I've been hearing people call people the F word, the FAGGOT word. That's absolutely disgusting. Oh, have a great day, Pink. I just think that we, as a society, I thought we had evolved to where we wouldn't say those things any longer. And for that, I'm truly sad. I'm sad for the people that, are getting shamed or made fun of. It's gross. So I just wanted to put that out there. Sorry. Am I going to be in trouble after this live?
We'll see. It depends.
Yeah, Life Rewinded. I'm pretty shaken about it, and it did upset me. Good morning, polyester jumpers. I woke up and I was talking to Brandon about it, and he was like, Sarah, we're not going to talk about it in this live, but I'm sorry, I don't know how to follow rules very well.
True. That's true. No, I think there are people that, like, they assume that people do all the things they do. So some people are willing to lie about this or that to get attention, or maybe the people around them do that and they know that. So they just assume everybody else does.
I mean, my husband was standing right there. Why would he lie about it? And if you're going to sit there and talk about Narcan when it comes to benzos, let me explain a little something to you. No, I didn't overdose from benzos. No, not at all. But they weren't real bars. I mean, they were pressed. I mean, when they checked my urine at the hospital, first of all, the nurse looked at me and she said, I've never seen anybody come into this hospital after an overdose and be so honest.
Right.
And that's facts. She actually said that. And I mean, I was very truthful with her. And because, I told her, I said, yeah, you don't have to take this or that. I'll go pee in a cup for you. And as they did that, she's checking all these different things and she asked me, did you do this drug? And I said, no. And she's like, well, it's in your system. And that's what made me think that those Xanax weren't real. They were probably made out on the streets. And then I also want to give a big, huge thank you to Marsha. No, I didn't say that I overdosed from heroin, but I did. I'm thinking that the combination of the heroin and those bars that were fake was way too much. And that's what caused me to overdose. So I'm not ashamed of it. It's who I am. It's a part of my life. It's been a part of my life for eons. And I guess I'm to the age where I don't get embarrassed anymore about my life. I keep it real, regardless if people like it or not, regardless if it makes me look good or not. I mean, honesty is all I have. I mess up all the time, but honesty is all I have. Yes, Serenity. Oh, gosh. Well, I'd love to talk about it here, but I can't. I really don't want it to be made as YouTube fodder for certain people, but there was a lot of things that was in my system that shouldn't have been there because I don't do those sorts of medications. And I said, no, that's definitely not me. There was like uppers, and I don't mess with uppers. Methamphetamine, that was in my system, and I don't mess with methamphetamines at all. I hate them. I'm wired enough as it is. And so that's what was leading me to think that those were probably bootleg. They were fake. Yes, Pink. Yes. Yeah, I had that in my system as well. But it was a crazy night. Poor Brandon. I don't know why he's with me.
I love you.
I love you too. I really do. And He told me a story just the other day. He said, Sarah, he said, when you was sitting in, he said, you did something I've never seen anybody do. And I said, what did I do? I'm coming in. I mean, I'm waking up from an overdose and the doctor walks out and what did I do?
It was pretty funny. So, the doctor's in there talking to her. She's crying, poo, she's so sorry. And, she just OD'd. So she's just feeling awful. And the doctor's being pretty real with her. He almost died and blah, blah, blah. I'm just sitting there trying to be a supportive husband and, kind of stay out of it, let the doctor do his thing. And he said, okay, well, I'm going to go, I got other people to see, but I'm going to take a look at your labs and I'll be back. So he walks out of the room, he closes the blinds, but there was also like a big glass door and he shut the glass door as well all the way. And I was watching Sarah and she was like really watching him leave. So he shuts the door and you can see like his legs like turn, go away. And as soon as that happens, she goes into her bra and pulls out a jewel and takes a big old puff on it and blows out smoke and says, I don't give a fuck.
And that's so not me. That was the
drugs talking.
Yeah, that was the drugs talking, because a sober-minded Sarah would never, ever in the history of ever do something like that. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I did that?
I was pretty shocked. It was when I looked back on it, I laughed. The situation was serious and I was just concerned about you. But when I thought back on it, I thought, oh my God, what a gangster. This one. Wow.
I mean, I can't believe I did that. I'm still sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, should I like bake some cookies or take something up to the hospital? Because they had to like put up with me. I felt bad,
I'm used to it.
Was you in there when they gave me all that food? I said, I'm hungry because I was wanting to leave. And that nurse was like, no, you have got to stay. You're not discharged yet. And I said, well, I'm hungry. They brought me so much food in there.
I love it. I love it.
And I'm not meaning to laugh. I'm not. It's just, that's not me. Like, that's absolutely not me. When I take certain medications, it turns me into someone that I'm absolutely not. It's like, what's that called, Brandon? See, my brain's not fully back yet.
Complete personality change.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Like I turn into another person and I'm like, oh my God, I need an exorcism or something because I get real mean. And I've noticed that a lot of people that take Xanax actually have that too. They get like real mean. They change. Like their voice changes. Their whole demeanor changes. Brandon even told me one time that the way I walk changed. Like everything about me just changes. And that's freaky. That is scary as shit. Yes, Serenity. It makes me hateful too. And I feel so bad because for one, I don't know how Brandon puts up with me. Honest to God, I don't know why he's here. I'm grateful that he's here, but I'm mean to him. And I don't mean to be, and he deserves better. And
I know that's not you. I know that's not who you are. And like anybody else, unfortunately, we have to have consequences to get clean or to get into recovery, to really get into it.
Yeah.
And thank God you survived your consequence. Not everybody does. Some people's consequence is death. And
well, yeah. And I'm still, looking behind or up the street, looking around because honestly, I could still be indicted for this, and I'm scared to death about that. They found drugs when I overdosed. I'm freaking out because I could potentially be indicted for this. There's still that chance, and I'm scared to death.
You should be. That's the reality of using drugs.
Yep.
It's legal, and once again, legal consequence is part of it, and that sometimes gets people clean. That's my story. I mean, I've OD'd a bunch of times, and I could tell you a number of times where I OD'd, and then when I came to, I used drugs again.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people have that in their story, but for me, for whatever reason, I wound up in legal in a legal situation where I got sentenced to prison, and I've been sober ever since. I don't
When I
know. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know why that time, because I had been in trouble with the law before. I've been to court before. For whatever reason, that time it stuck. So that was all.
After I left the hospital that night, I kind of like sobered up, obviously, and I thought about the severity of the situation, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. You know, I'm going to go to jail for this. Um, I was petrified, you know, and I, I guess I can't be upset about it because I caused the actions. I did this. So therefore, I have to take responsibility for whatever comes at me. Obviously, my family comes first and foremost, and I've apologized to them, especially my daughter and my son, and then my husband. Thankfully, he gets it because he's lived it, but I can't continue to use that as an excuse. I can't sit there and think, well, he'll forgive me if I do this. You know, I've done it too many times to him, I guess, and I'm sorry for that.
No, it's not. It's not even about forgiveness. It's way beyond that. It's the reality of the situation is that I drank and used enough drugs to not want to drink and use drugs anymore.
Right.
And it got to a point where alcohol and drugs didn't even work. They didn't even do what I wanted them to do. Yeah, I might get drunk, I might get a buzz from the drugs, but it wouldn't take away the fear. It wouldn't take away the anxiety. It wouldn't take away the pain. It would just make it worse because I knew what was coming. I knew more consequences were coming. I knew more pain was coming. I knew once the drugs wore off, I was just going to be sick and a mess.
Right.
And when it was time to start trying to forgive people, or say I'm sorry to people and make amends, what I found out was ultimately I can forgive people easy, but can I forgive myself? That's really the question, I think, in your situation and a lot of people's. We have to find a way to forgive ourselves, stop kicking ourselves in the butt, and say, you know what, I'm not doing that today. I'm trying to live a better life. I'm trying to live a clean life.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, forgiveness just happens automatically, eventually. Sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it comes immediate. But I think ultimately you got to forgive yourself.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's hard to do because we see the pain that we cause our loved ones. And so it's hard to forgive ourselves when our actions cause others pain.
Do you know why we hurt those that are closest to us?
Why?
Because they're closest.
Yeah.
And the way I always put it to people is they're most likely to forgive us and they're the least likely to call the police on us. So we often, hurt those that are closest to us, our parents, our spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, our children, whatever. That's just, they're the closest to us. So we're so miserable that we want to drag everybody else down.
Look what Serenity here said. I remember praying for God's will. I see Brandon do that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I prayed many a times. I didn't know, I didn't know when I got to prison, this was my prayer being answered. I realized that later, when I looked back, I went, oh, okay. So when I was praying, please God, give me the willingness, show me the willingness, and just allow me to better understand God's will. That came later on. Because when I was in prison, I wasn't thinking, man, this is a gift. I'm so grateful God put me here. I was grateful to be alive, but it took some time later to realize. And all throughout my past, I'm able to look back. It's like all the times I thought God wasn't there, that's when God was really there, So
I'll sit there and I'll pray and I'll say, teach me the truth no matter what the cost.
Yeah.
And guide me and show me the way. So, yes, Serenity here. That's if it's God's will, Pink says, I'm actually setting up a Zoom meeting with 2 inmates in prison for drug-related crimes. I'm presenting it to a support group when it's completed. That's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Heck
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I love how Zoom is and just these calls through the internet are really connecting people and really, I think it's really helping a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, technology
There's,
scares me sometimes, but this seems to be helping.
yeah. Zoom meetings, those Zoom meetings are phenomenal. There's some people that just do not like to leave their house. I guess there's like some forms of agoraphobia. And, you know, when it comes to those um, recovery meetings through Zoom, those are amazing. And someone just pointed me in a direction just the other day for one of those meetings, and I thought it was great. And I don't know, they do help. So, Brandon, my question to you is, can someone cause someone else to relapse?
Okay, so let's try to break that down the best we can. First and foremost, you know, and in this situation, relapse was the physical action of taking the drug. There was a lot of time before that where maybe you didn't go to a meeting, maybe you weren't honest with your sponsor, maybe we're supposed to call our support and not whatever led up to our relapse. The physical action of taking the drug is what caused it. Now, I can always point the finger at a lot of people. I can always say, well, I've got problems with alcohol and drugs because of the genetics.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma was an addict. My dad was an alcoholic addict. Of course, I have these types of issues, and that's fine. I can blame them all I want. And when I started going to rehab in 2005, that was a big part of the treatment I was in, talking about family of origin and how this stuff kind of trickled down to a point to where, I ended up with this disease. At some point, someone kind of explained to me that if I always blame them, it'll never be my disease. It'll always be their disease.
Right.
And until it becomes mine, you know, um, I'll never get better because it'll always be someone else's fault. It'll always be someone else's problem. Um, Now, if I'm living with someone and they're drinking and using, if they're trying to push drugs on me, that's a tough one. I know there's people out there that deal with that. I know there's plenty of people in sobriety that are like bartenders. Maybe they work at a pharmacy. Maybe they're just in a position to where they're around drugs or abuse. That, once again, that's a tough one, and that's the decision that person made in terms of employment or lifestyle. But can I? Okay. For example, I've sponsored guys that relapsed and died. In fact, two of my best friends, I sponsored them. They got same thing. They got to a point where they quit going to meetings, or they quit being honest with me, or they just weren't doing the things in recovery they were supposed to do, and they got drunk or they got high, whatever. And they relapsed, they used, and they died. And for a while, I felt guilty. I felt like I didn't do enough, or if I'd have said this, it would have saved them. Or, I should have, that one time that I couldn't pick up the phone because I was on the other line, I was driving. Had I just picked up the phone, maybe they'd still be here and all that stuff. I didn't kill them. Drugs and alcohol killed them. The fact of the matter is that I'm a person who believes that human power doesn't work well with us. To stay
Oh,
clean and
amen.
sober, I really need a spiritual path, a spiritual being, a religion, a higher power, a God, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, the herd is moving. So if I have a spiritual being and I have something I believe in, maybe I pray, maybe I use meditation, maybe there's certain rituals I do based on that spiritual path, whatever. That's what ultimately keeps me clean. I've proven throughout my life I can't keep me clean and sober. I can't. I've tried. On my own, I'll drink and use again. But with a spiritual path, the fellowship of people in recovery, 12 steps, all that, I've been able to find a path of recovery.
And that's amazing. That's your story. And,
right.
Some people don't want to do the 12 steps. What kind of advice do you have for that?
Okay, so they've got to find a spiritual path separate than that. the goal of the 12 steps is to get rid of the bad stuff, the
Mm-hmm.
crap within us that makes us drink and use, and make room for the good stuff. A higher power, and then all the good, responsibility, honesty, mindedness, willingness, being caring, being sympathetic, all the good stuff. There's no room for that if I've got all this negative crap
Right.
within, dishonesty. I'm fake. When I'm put in a corner, I'll say anything to get out of the situation, whatever. Every time I relapsed in my life, it was because I wasn't working a program of recovery. It had nothing to do with who I was hanging out with. It had nothing to do with my parents. It had nothing to do with whoever I was dating, what job I had. It didn't matter. I picked up again because I had no defense against a drink or a drug. None. It was eating. I didn't even have to think about it. I'd literally there were literally times where I would be sitting there drinking beer and didn't even really understand how I'd gotten alcohol. It just happened so fast, and before you know it, I've relapsed.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a pattern like with certain people, like they just absolutely refuse to get a sponsor and they keep themselves sick. They can't figure out why they can't stay sober. I'm telling you, with some people, they've got to just lose the ego and get a sponsor and try to work a program to see if it works. Because you're not going to know if it works if you don't try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's probably dependent on the person. I know everybody's different. For a lot of people, they don't think it's going to work for them.
Mm.
They look at other people that have stayed clean or other people that are in recovery, and they just don't feel like, I always felt that way. Like, I'm not like these people. They're good people. I'm not a good person. Like,
Right.
of course, God's going to help them. Look at them. God's not going to help someone like me. And I was wrong. I was dead wrong. And, for me, the key to staying clean for me, I've been to rehab a bunch of times, been locked up. I've been in and out of 12-step meetings. I've had sponsors, not had sponsors. The only thing I did different in 2009 was I got a sponsor and I said, I'll do whatever it takes to stay clean. And we worked the 12 steps. That was it.
Hey,
That's the
Alicia.
only thing I did different.
Thank you, Alicia. It's good to see you. Hey, Monique. It's good to see you too. I keep muting because I keep coughing. I'm telling you, there's so much air pollution out there. It's killing me. Like it's hold on.
Okay.
These allergies are gonna kill me. I'm telling you what. Oh, like my eyes are itching and burning. It's yucky out.
So I personally don't believe someone else can cause me to relapse. I just don't believe that. Simply because ultimately it's my disease.
Don Murray says a good alternative to AA is St. Jude's Freedom Model, not a religious program.
I've never heard of that. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Hey, Miss Dorky.
There's also Celebrate Recovery. That's kind of a 12-step thing through the churches.
Yeah.
There's I can't think of the name of it. There used to be a program in the 2000s that you did online, but I just cannot remember the name of it. But it was an alternative to the 12 steps. The goal, like I said, the 12 steps is to get rid of the negative stuff, bring in the positive stuff, and then find and
it teaches you structure too, and it teaches you how to be honest.
Yeah. And finding and developing a relationship with a higher power. Mm-hmm. And then
and that higher power doesn't have to be God. It could be a teddy bear that you have in your bedroom. A higher power can be anything.
Yeah. I know a girl who told me a long time, years ago, she told me that she was kind of on the fence with the spirituality thing. So she was going to pray to her grandparents. She knew that her grandparents were such good people and had such strong beliefs that she felt like if she prayed to them, maybe she'd stay clean. Smart recovery. Mm-hmm. That's it. Smart recovery. Deborah Groovy just said it. That's the one I couldn't think of. Does that sound familiar though, Sarah? Some girl praying to her grandparents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I went through, it was a detox program that Brandon worked at, and I told him, I said, I I don't like God. I hate God right now. God took this person away from me, that person. And, I'm blaming God for all these problems. And Brandon's like, okay, well, you might change your mind on down the line. But for now, pray to your grandparents. And I did. And that worked for me for a really long time. It did. But then I got to a place where, I became grateful for everything that I had learned through recovery. Therefore, there must be a higher power keeping me alive. And, that's what put me on my spiritual path. It's not a religion path, but it's a spiritual path. And my higher power is God. It might not be the same God as Brandon's or that one or this one's, but it's helping me, I fell off the wagon. I did, but I'm here today because of my higher power, because there's some entity that's helping me stay alive. I fully believe that. And I believe that for others that, have a relapse and are able to live through that. There's something that's keeping us alive.
Yeah, I mean, I literally found out for me that God was real, that God loved me and wanted what was best for me through real little things that most people would consider a coincidence. Most people would look at these situations and go, well, that's just a coincidence. To me, it got me higher than any drugs I'd ever done. It was a feeling and a buzz of, I call it the spiritual buzz.
You know what? Meditation has taught me that if you want a natural high, that's how to get it. Brandon taught me how to meditate. Do you remember that day you took me out in the backyard and we was on the porch and you taught me how to just calm my mind. Yeah. And ever since then, meditation has been my thing because it's a beautiful experience. It's a natural experience. It's amazing. And I never knew that until I met Brandon. And I'm so grateful for that because it's meditating. I don't know what I'd do without it now,
One of the things I did.
Yes, Life Rewinded. Yoga is good too.
We need to do it too. It's right down the road. We need to go do some yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah. My doctor really wants me to do some yoga.
Really?
Yeah, because my back. Just the stretching and all that stuff. She just really. But I didn't know how to meditate either. And I lived, when I got out of prison, I lived in a halfway house for people that just got out of prison. And I would lay in bed at night and I could never sleep. So I would tell my story to myself in my mind as if I had been sober for a while. I would go through and try to explain every 12th step to myself. I would try to explain my experience with each step, just to try to keep my head in the game. Because if I let my mind wander, my past, and I'm afraid of the future, and drugs, and I'm living in this halfway house, and blah, blah, blah. And it was just driving me crazy. So one of the things that slowed my mind was just telling myself my own story and trying to do it from a positive outlook. Not I'm this awful person. I would try to sort of dream about the person I wanted to be. And for the most part, I'm there. I've become a person that, honestly, I've become a person I wouldn't even have liked.
Oh, gosh.
I'm a guy who, talks about 12 steps and spirituality. And those people used to get on my nerve. But that's who I am. One of my favorite topics is spirituality and how it's benefited my life. So, once again, when it comes to relapse, if a person survives, they either get busy with doing the things to stay clean, or they're just waiting around for the next relapse.
Yeah. There's not, for addicts, I feel bad for the ones that are still struggling to stay clean. I waved my hand here, but let's see, how do I want to word this? I got too big for my britches, I guess, and it's like I forgot everything that I had learned when it came to recovery, and I relapsed. And it's not that I forgot, but I pushed it in the back of my mind, and I wasn't, working my recovery anymore. It just laid stagnant, and that's what got me in trouble, I think.
Yeah, complacency.
Yeah.
which is easy to do, especially when you've been clean 6, 7 years, 10 years. What it's easy. It's so because we forget the pain. I cannot remember the pain of 10 years ago. I can't remember
Oh,
the pain of, I can't. I'm an addict. My mind will only paint the picture of the benefit I think, or my crazy mind thinks the drug's going to do for me. I know what happens when I drink and use. I'm not confused, but my mind will say, "Oh, come on, all that back pain. You at least need like a Vicodin or something. Like, come on, you shouldn't have to live this way, or you know, it's been this long. Like, you can't drink a little." That's the voice of addiction. I mean, I'm blessed. I don't have those thoughts, but it's easy to get there. It's easy to get to a place where your mind starts telling you, "Oh, come on, it'll be okay. It'll be all
yes,
right."
Deborah. I can relate to that. She says resentment over people, places, and things is the biggest trigger for my relapse. Then obsession over crap, leading to obsessing over drinking and drug.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh gosh. See, I struggle with that. I dwell on things, and that gets me in trouble. And that's where the mental health aspect of it comes in. I dwell over things that happened eons ago, and I can't make that part stop. I'm trying to get better. I pray about it, I meditate about it. But it's just something that's always been there. So I have to learn a new way to cope.
Yeah. For me personally, the fourth step to the ninth step allowed me to not have to dwell on my past anymore. Trust me, I still cringe it. I'll have a memory of something I did or something I said or a lie I told 15 years ago, and I'll cringe. But I don't sit around and dwell on it anymore. It happened. It can't be changed. I'm so grateful I was able to get past it. But being an addict, I still have fear of the future.
Yeah, in Life Rewinded, you're absolutely right. When I was first in recovery, like maybe okay, no, let me go back a little bit. When I was first in rehab, um, I had resentments against other people that had, beat their addiction and had this many years clean and had a good life, had a home, had a family. And I'm sitting there, homeless in a rehab, like, well, I don't know why I can't get this. It's because I was holding on to resentments. It's because I didn't know how to live sober, because I had never used those tools, because I didn't know the tools. I refused to allow myself to go into AA or NA because I thought I was better than that. I thought it was stupid. And that's what kept me sick, you know? Um, just this past time, there's a lady that's sponsoring me, and I poured it all out to her. And at the end of that conversation, I was like, I am so sorry that I put all this onto you. And she was like, Sarah, that's what we are here for. That's what we do. Other people did it for us. Therefore, we do it for people that are newly sober.
Yeah.
They'll
Absolutely.
help you carry that weight, and they'll help you figure out that it's okay, that you don't have to um, carry all of that on your own. And that's the beauty of sponsorship. It's paying it forward.
Yeah, dealing with resentment's a tough one. One of the things I learned, especially if it's a person, is we have to learn to pray for people,
Mm-hmm.
even if we hate them, even if we can't stand them, even if they're mean to us, or we got to pray for them if we want to get rid of the resentment. If you want to hold on to it for another 10 years and let it eat you alive until you drink or use or go crazy, that's fine. You're allowed to do that too. But
Oh, I
praying for
resent
people's
my father. I resent that man
sure,
from here to kingdom come. I cannot, but I still pray for him every night.
right.
I have to do that to keep myself healthy. I can't hold on to hate because it's going to keep me sick. Even though I'll probably never have a conversation with my biological father again, I'm still going to pray for him because I still wish him well.
Absolutely.
That's hard to admit, but it's true.
Alexis P said it's easier to blame others and deflect than deal with the pain of what we are responsible for. Well said. Because that's what brings you further down the rabbit hole. Blame shifting is brain's way of protection. So true. So true.
Yeah.
It's just easier. I don't want to take responsibility for all that stuff. And plus, I was, one of the things I used to do in my mind, well, I was drinking. So, all right, well, I was dope sick. So what's the big deal? Like, see, I used to steal from my mom, and that's what my brain would say when I would feel guilty about it.
God love your
Years
mom.
later.
She's so cute.
Yeah,
Bring
she's
her
awesome.
in. Yeah. God love
She's
her.
awesome. She's awesome. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy that I would, just shift the blame on the drugs. At some point, I got to take responsibility for drugs. Didn't do that. I did that.
Yeah. And that's what this live is about. Can someone else cause someone else to relapse? No.
No.
You have to be accountable for your own actions.
Right.
There's nobody that can make me relapse. Only I can make me relapse.
No one has ever put a gun to my head and said, snort this, drink this, pop
Right.
this pill. I chose it every time. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't about choice in the end. I physically needed it, like I needed oxygen. It wasn't about choices anymore. That was my lifestyle. But yeah, and the truth of the matter, the first time I ever got drunk, I was alone. The last time I got drunk and high, I was alone. So let that
Read what
tell you.
Deborah said.
Steps 6 and 7 are my favorite. Me too, because my character defects are what usually F me up. I ask my higher power daily to get rid of those. They still creep up, those little buggers. 6 and 7, let me tell you something. I went to rehab a lot, and I sat in meetings and went in and out of recovery time after time. I don't know that anyone ever said this to me, but I try to tell people this one, especially at the beginning of the 12 steps, whether they got 10 days or 10 years. Once you lose the obsession of drink and use, which is possible, which happened to me, through the 12-step process, I lost that obsession. My brain, I didn't wake up today thinking about how I was going to get drunk or high. And I didn't go to bed last night thinking about it either, by the grace of God. What no one told me was, once you lose the obsession of drink and use, you're going to find a whole new list of stuff to obsess over. Mm-hmm. You're going to find a whole new list of things to worry and wonder about and cause all these problems. And we're going to spend the rest of our recovery trying to get rid of those. And that's really the heartbeat, I think, of 6 and 7. 6 is just a list. 7 is where, in my case, there's a specific prayer we say, and we try to pray to get rid of these things. And God, my higher power, removes them. I don't remove them. I don't know how. My higher power does.
Yeah.
And that's the miracle of it. But yeah, 6 and 7 is my favorite as well.
Serenity here. I used to look down upon people that were drug addicts. Before I became an addict, I would, see people out on the streets using, and I'd be like, I'll never do that. I did that. And here I am today. What I've learned throughout this journey is that, most addicts that I know are some of the most beautiful people I've ever met. They literally do. And Brandon said this to me one time. He said, addicts live a hell on earth. And that's absolutely true. And that's why, when addicts find recovery, they become humble and they do turn into the most beautiful people ever. Yeah. And I hate the stigma where, people feel like it's okay to make fun of somebody because they are struggling with their addiction. No, it's not okay. Those people could potentially lose their lives. If they were to die, would you still make fun of them? Or would you sit there and say, oh, I really liked that person? It's just, it's sad to me. It's sad to see people make fun of other people for their struggles. And addiction has always had the stigma where, these addicts must be bad people. No, that's society that has told you that. That comes from movies, that comes from wherever. Even Hunter Biden was being made fun of for being a crackhead or whatever.
Yeah.
In the news, in the mainstream news, he's being made fun of because he's had a lifelong struggle with addiction. Now, I'm not a Democrat, but I still, feel bad for him because he does have an addiction. And
Absolutely.
I think that it's something that we should not be making fun of, especially in 2021. That's my opinion.
No, absolutely. It's ridiculous, and it's going to take a long, long time to change. I'm a real addict. I used to um, I used to walk from the homeless shelter to the methadone clinic,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I would watch the people driving to work, and I would look at them and go, "Look at these slaves. Look at this. Look at the sheep. Going to their silly jobs. I'm a homeless junkie walking the methadone clinic,
Right.
looking my net. Only an addict can do that. So that's kind of the flip side of that coin. But I I don't know. I'm grateful. I mean, making fun of someone being an addict is like making fun of someone who's a diabetic, or making fun of somebody who has cancer. Until society accepts this as a disease for what it really is, um, it's going to be this way.
I
People are
think,
going to.
yeah, in Life Rewind, it says most opioid users have the mentality it's the doctor's fault and not mine.
Right.
I mean, yeah, Brandon and I both come from a place where both of our addictions pretty much began like when they started releasing Oxycontin.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. I went to the doctor just because my back was sore in the early 2000s, I think. And I can't remember the doctor's name, but he got in trouble for a lot of things. Anyways, he prescribed me like 90, what was it? 20 milligram Oxycontins.
Which is
And I'm
insane.
like, yeah, I'm 18, 19 years old, and he's prescribing me that. It was a new drug. They didn't know how much damage that drug was going to cause people.
Yeah. When I
And
was 18, same thing. I got 80 milligrams once a day.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they was handing that out like candy on what was it? Like if you would go to the pharmacy, you would see a big sign in the window that says we do not carry Oxycontin. Please don't rate us
Right.
because oh gosh,
They kept getting broken
pharmacy.
into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pharmacy. See, my head's still not like all there yet. I had a
All good.
seizure, and so I struggle to talk sometimes, and like my brain will freeze. Ugh. That's another thing. That's a part of my addiction. I have seizures from it, and you would think that in my mind, I'd be like, okay, you got to stay away from this because it's going to cause you to have a seizure. But no, the addiction is too strong, and I didn't even think of that. That was the addiction talking. It's kind of hiding that in the back of my mind so I don't think of it because then I might not use.
It's part of the insanity.
Yeah.
If someone's allergic to strawberries, they don't obsess over eating strawberries. They know that if they eat them, they could potentially die. Yet addicts, we know we're allergic to this. We know it's poison, but we obsess and try to find a way to take it and, you know, think it'll be different this time. Yet same thing keeps happening. And that was a realization for me too that was hard to admit, that I was allergic to these things, that it was like poison to me. It was hard to admit that because a
Look
part
at
of my
that.
brain.
Look what Pink said. As a nurse, I saw the BS daily with doctors handing it out saying that it's not addictive.
All nurses know. Trust me, I've
Oh,
been
yeah,
around some nurses. Because that's usually the smartest person in the hospital. They got to.
absolutely.
I mean, doctors usually know about a specific type of medicine, but nurses got to know all the types of medicine, and they got to know how to help each doctor, with their thing. It's impressive, and I tell you what, I've met some nurses too that have seen that crap up close and personal. But it's a mess, and it's not going anywhere. I know there was a statistic. I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago that 99% of all the
Controller.
Vicodin in the world is prescribed in the United States.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, what's even more insane is like what, a year or two ago, Brandon and I was talking about an article where they was saying eventually you'll be able to get Vicodin like you get Tylenol. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
whoa.
yeah.
Oh my
There's some,
God. Why would they do that? Like
well,
that's a
it's
death sentence for some people.
it's just to that point to where they're tired of dealing with it. They're tired of it clogging up the courts. It's in their opinion not very strong. compared to the other opiates.
If
So
you take enough, it's going to be strong.
no, absolutely. And it's just one of those things that's coming down the pike. I don't know when, but yeah, there's been talks in a while that Vicodin will eventually be over the counter.
Yeah, Serenity here says pharmaceutical companies actually promoted it as the new safe painkiller. Yeah, no, so many people died from that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
there's a
remember
bunch of
that.
there's a
Serenity
bunch of
here.
documentaries out right now about that. And it's sad. It's unbelievably sad what occurred. They knew what they were doing, and it's sad.
Oh, Life Rewinded, Vicodin makes my face itch too, and it'll make me real antsy. That's one medication I gotta stay away from.
My
Not
favorite
be-
buzz.
yeah, like
That's my
10 minutes
absolute
in, you
favorite.
can feel that.
I love it. It's out of all the drugs in the world, my favorite buzz is about 6 or 7 regular Vicodin. If I didn't have a habit, because when I was 16, 17, that's when I started taking Vicodin. Is the highest I'd ever been. I just loved it. I don't know why. For some reason, the feeling I got from hydrocodone was more profound than the other ones. I don't know
agree,
why.
420 growers. Amen.
Let's stick to the weed. Yeah.
That is the safest, honestly, and it does help pain.
Well, I don't even feel like that's drug of abuse. I don't smoke personally, but yeah, I don't feel like marijuana is typical. It's just not a drug of abuse.
Look, I married a man that is completely straight edge. This man won't even take a Tylenol. Like complete, and that's healthy for me. That's good for me, but it's absolutely beneficial for him, because like if he takes anything, he's afraid that he's going to relapse again.
Yeah, well, I just my mind very quickly goes to I have to have this. I have to have this every day. I don't know why. I'm just wired that way. I quit trying to figure it out years ago. It's like, no,
look,
it's like,
I thought you was Superman. This man had surgery, what, a year and a half ago. And when he came out of that surgery, they gave him no narcotics at all, like none. And he went home with no narcotics. And I was blown away, like absolutely blown away. I couldn't believe that he went through that kind of surgery without any narcotics. That was like Superman to me. There's no way I could have done that. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you. I don't know why it does that. It does it every day. It's weird.
Yes.
Yeah. That surgery was fun. That was a great time. I got to tell you.
No, it wasn't. That was the most awful thing I'd ever been through with you. And I said, Brandon, why don't you just take the medication that the doctors just for a couple days to make it easier? And Brandon was like, nope, I'm good. And through prayer and meditation, he was fine a few days later. It mind boggled me. I couldn't believe it. He had his whole stomach, opened up from stem to stern. And there he is going home with no medication. It was amazing to me. I'd never seen anything like that, ever.
No choice. It's just how I got to do it. It is what
I commend you for that.
Thank you.
I couldn't do it. There's no way. No. Wow, Life Rewinded. Kudos to you. I turned narcotics away after 2 surgeries too.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys are like Supermen to me. I don't think I could do it. Look, I've had 2 C-sections. That is the most painful, excruciating thing that I have ever gone through. So whenever I think of someone having surgery, it takes me back to that kind of pain. And I'm like, nope, there's no way I could have gone without medication. But, times are changing. And in the hospital, they told Brandon and I, they put a medication in him that is not a narcotic, but he won't feel the pain for a few days. And that's fascinating itself. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was a day. They said you got about 24 hours.
It was some kind of blocker.
Yeah. I said you got about 24 hours and then you'll start feeling pain. But no, it wasn't horrendous. I mean, it was tough, but it wasn't the worst. I mean, I think the thing I tell myself, like, it's just 2 days. I just got to make it over 2 days and I'll still be sore. I'll still feel like crap. But, if in the scope of my life, I think I can handle 2 days with some pain.
That's awesome, Controller, that he was able to say, take me off, because that's hard. After surgeries, it's so hard to be able to do it. without any medication. So I salute people that are able to do that. Absolutely. You guys are like heroes to me. Because I'm petrified, I've got to have this knee surgery eventually. And I keep putting it off because I don't want to feel the pain.
Right.
Motrin, let's see. Motrin and I took a lot of natural remedies. Yeah. And smoothies for inflammation. Ooh.
See, Sarah, smoothies.
Yeah,
That perks her interest.
that caught my attention.
Yeah.
Smoothies. Life Rewinded. We're gonna have to talk after this.
Yeah. She likes her smoothie.
Yeah. And I don't know. Oh, Control, I'm sorry.
Well, did we
Yeah.
did we make sense in terms of explaining relapse and all that?
We talked about a lot.
I know.
And it makes me sad when I see people say, you caused this one to relapse, or you caused that one to relapse. No, that's not how it works. Nobody can cause someone else to relapse.
Let's say, for example, like sometimes I work with different musicians or bands, and they're playing a show and they want me to come so I can hear a new song or maybe hear a certain part of a song to help them with it. So I got to go to a bar. I got to go to a place where they serve alcohol. People might be smoking weed. People might be getting high. I mean, I've seen it all at bars, but
Yeah.
if I go there and I'm there for work, I'm there to try to help or to help a friend, whatever. That's why I'm there. I'm not there to drink. Now, if I drink, is it the band's fault?
No.
Is it the bar's fault? No, I chose to be there. I made the decision to show up at that place. So if I take a drink, it's on me. That's just one example I can think of where I was around, alcohol or drugs, where I made the decision to do so.
Oh my gosh. Alexis says, I get my biopsy back in 10 days, hoping I don't need surgery. Oh, Alexis, honey, prayers for you, my friend.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh. I'm sorry to hear that, Alexis. I'm praying for you.
Absolutely. Hope you don't have to have surgery.
Yes. Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's definitely not fun, but no matter what happens, we got each other. We've got our program of recovery and we'll get through it, the best we can.
Yeah.
Because I might have to have some surgeries too.
I'm not looking forward to that again. Lord have mercy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You have to have that surgery. Like there's no getting around it. You have to have that surgery again.
Yeah. And we'll get there. It's just one day, like anything else. It's one day at a time. But,
well, I'll be there to take care of you.
Good. I need you, honey.
Yeah. And I need you. I mean, I don't know what I'd do without you. And
likewise.
People sit there and say, why does he stay with Sarah? And what did you tell me? I asked you that. I said, Brandon, why do you even put up with me? Why do you stay with me? What'd you say?
Well, first and foremost, I took vows under God that I'd stay with you through sickness and health.
Well, yeah, but
first of all,
my grandfather.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Second of all, I promised you, your grandpa, when he was crying, when he was, well, to be honest, your grandpa was within 3 days of dying. He was on his deathbed. And he just started crying. And he said, will you please promise me that you'll always take care of Sarah? And I prayed with him, swore to God that no matter what, I will always take care of you and yours. And
I love you, Brandon.
I love you too. And that's life. That's it's not even a choice I had to make.
He knew that you was a good one. And I'm so grateful for that. My grandpa said that, this is before he got really sick. He said, I prayed for you two to be together. And he knew, he knew Brandon was a good one. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful. I'll always be grateful for my grandfather. And
he was amazing.
I'm grateful for you.
And I'm grateful for you no matter what has happened or what will happen. In life, we're kind of just out here crashing into each other, trying to figure things out, trying to get through it.
Yes, rewinded. Papa always knows best.
The truth is that, at the end of the day, all we really have is each other.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty nasty past like anyone else, but today I'm not that person. And it's because of Sarah. It's because of the people in the chat. It's because of, the people that showed me that there is a better way. We are capable of so much love and so many good things.
Oh, absolutely, Brandon. Let me tell you, there is a community of women here, even though it might not be done here online, like on YouTube. We have discords. There is a group of women that will absolutely go out of their way to do anything for you. And these are great people that are in this community. And I don't care what anyone says. The majority of people, or all of the people that I hang around with, are beautiful people. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Oh, I know. I see it. I hear it. I hear you talking about it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful.
I've never seen women be so caring, so sympathetic, and so worried about their friends and people that they adore and love. And I don't care what anybody says. You can make genuine friendships online. I've seen it. I have it. And I'm grateful.
Me too.
Oh, Narni too. I absolutely adore you. I really do. I think Serenity here, I love you. And Life Rewinded, I absolutely love you. And you guys have been there for me. And I've got to start paying it forward. I've got to be there for you guys. I've got to, I'll do anything for you guys.
And you're there right now. We're doing it right now. It's the gift we have. We got to wake
and
up
not
today.
everybody is going to care about Sarah and Brandon talking about recovery, but other people do. And it's beneficial for everybody in the situation. I talk about it because it's healthy for me to talk about. And there should be no shame in somebody talking about their story. Don't shame people for that.
We love you too.
Yeah.
More than you may understand.
Life Rewinded, you're right. Look, a lot of my friends on here got me through the worst times. Sandy, Anna Mary, Sally, even Marcia, Sarah. I'm more than happy to hold your hand and help. Oh my gosh, I love you, Life Rewinded. Hi, Dina. How are you? Is it Deanna? How are you, darling? I catch some of your lives sometimes. I kind of lurk in and I watch. My heart goes out to you. It really does. I've seen some of the things that you've had to go through, and my heart just hurts for you. God love you, man. Dina. Okay, gotcha.
Well, it's been over an hour. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hold on, Brandon.
Okay.
Amanda Lynn is a good one. Oh my gosh. If anybody ever wants to have somebody to talk to when it comes to relapse or addiction, Amanda Lynn is one to reach out to. I'm telling you what, she was there for me too, Life Rewinded. Oh Lord, I went through my relapse and I messaged her and I'm like, you know what? I absolutely adore you. And she's got many years clean, and she was able to say, you know what, Sarah, you've got this. And we had that discussion, and I'm so grateful for that because she helped me realize that it's going to be okay. Two and a half years. That's amazing.
Congratulations.
I'm going on 2 weeks.
But we're all in this together, 2 years, 2 days, 2 weeks. We're all here together.
It kills me. I was so proud. I was going to have 7 years, and damn it.
Hey, it's all good. You ain't the first, and you won't be the last.
No, but I'm grinding my teeth over it. It's still like,
I know. Time's an illusion. I mean, you proved it can go away really fast. So
yeah, and it sucks, and that's why people need to pay attention to warning signs and triggers, because that sobriety date will change. And you know, to me, that sobriety date that I had was so unbelievably important. And I'm having to convince myself that it's just a number, that, you know, I can get that back again. I can get that 6 years again. I can get 10 years next time or this time. Hey, German lady, it's good to see you. I love you, lady. I think that's what bothered me the most, to be completely honest with you. That bothered me, the whole sobriety date changing. Hey, Miss Lennon, it's
I
good to see you.
understand, but I mean, really, where it counts is we have today.
Yeah,
You know,
and I'm
so
grateful to be alive today. Like, honestly, I am. And you know, I didn't come on here. You know, there's been people say that I'm doing this for sympathy, and no, I don't want sympathy. You know, it's just a part of my story. I'm used to talking about it in my real life, and therefore I bring it here. I don't have, I'm not ashamed of it. So why am I not going to talk about it? Maybe it might help someone. Maybe someone will be there to listen and say, hey, you know what? I can relate. People just kill me. Yeah, Alexis, you're right. You learn from your relapses, and you have a whole lot of reminders why not to relapse. And, you know, I think that everything happens for a reason, and you can learn from your past, and it can make you a better person in the future. Relapse make you smart about yourself. Whoa. If you stop, of course, and learn your triggers each time, it gets easier. You're right. Oh gosh, serenity here. Yes, recovering addicts are the most compassionate people alive. Amen. I know Brandon is. I know that he, you know, he has a lot of compassion for addicts, and I love people like that. I love people that have enough love in their heart to help other people that are struggling. I absolutely love that about people.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's where the buzz is. You know, the buzz of recovery is in helping others, I believe. And
Yeah, it can be, absolutely. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry for that. I know what you're talking about, and God love you. Yeah, serenity here. I agree with that. That's why I'll never. I agree. Just put it that way. I agree. But, you know, I know Brandon's probably tired of standing out there. So I think, you know, it's been an hour, and I'm very grateful for all of you in the chat. And I love you guys. You know, you guys have been there for me, and I love you for that.
thank
And
you guys so much for listening. Thank you for
yeah,
participating and commenting, and thank you for being you.
yeah,
You know, thank you for reminding us, you know, whether we need it or not, that we're not alone, and that we're just a group of people trying to figure out how to stay clean today. I
hmm,
don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Who knows? But today, you know, we're doing what's necessary to stay clean and sober. And I really appreciate you guys being here.
I do too. Serenity says, Brandon, you are the best.
Thank
God,
you.
I love you, Serenity here. I love you, Narni. Dina, she says, look, people do the same thing to me and say that I'm out for sympathy or attention. So just don't listen. Right. Absolutely. You know what? Dina, that's your story. And you should be able to go on to your channel and talk about your story. You have that freedom and you have that right. And it's not for sympathy. You know, using our YouTube channels, panels, whatever it may be, it can be healthy and beneficial for us. And some people don't want to see it that way, but it's true. Much love to you, Sabrina. So, with that being said, we're going to jump off here because I need some breakfast, or I want some breakfast.
Nice.
Do you want some eggs? Eggs sound good.
I think today's going to be a good day, guys.
Yeah,
Real good day.
it is. It is. Everybody should tell themselves that today's going to be a good day. Every day that people wake up, they need to say, you know what? Instead of thinking about the bad things, instead of dwelling on the bad things, today's going to be a good day. I'm trying to reach that point.
You're already there.
Oh, gosh. Control, I appreciate you, and I love you to pieces, girl. So, yeah, we're going to jump off here, and I want some eggs. So I'm going to go make some eggs.
Y'all be good. Thanks.
Yeah, y'all have a great day and have a great weekend. I love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.